I'm Lucy, and Christmas used to be my favorite time of year. The magic of the season always filled me with joy, decorating the tree, baking cookies, and sharing laughter with loved ones. But all of that changed last Christmas, when I encountered evil Santa. It started innocently enough, with the first snowflakes of the season drifting lazily from the sky. I was home alone, nestled by the fireplace, wrapping presents late into the night. The clock ticked past midnight when I heard it, a faint jingle, like sleigh bells in the distance. At first, I dismissed it as my imagination playing tricks on me. After all, it was Christmas Eve, and my mind was undoubtedly filled with thoughts of Santa Claus and his reindeer. But the sound persisted, growing louder and closer until it seemed to echo through the walls of my house. Heart racing, I tiptoed to the window and peered outside. What I saw froze me in terror. There, standing in the moonlight, was Santa Claus, or at least, something that resembled him. His red suit was tattered and stained, his beard matted and tangled. But it was his eyes that chilled me to the bone, empty voids of darkness that seemed to swallow the light around them. I watched in horror as evil Santa approached my house, his footsteps heavy against the frozen ground. With a shiver, I realized that there was no warmth in his presence, no twinkle of holiday cheer. Only darkness. As he reached my doorstep, I scrambled to hide, praying that he wouldn't see me. But evil Santa knew I was there. With a guttural growl, he pounded on the door, each thud sending shockwaves through the house. I cowered in silence, the sound of my own heartbeat drowning out all else. Minutes stretched into eternity as I waited for him to leave, to disappear back into the night. But he remained, his presence looming like a shadow over my home. And then, without warning, the pounding stopped. I held my breath, waiting for the next inevitable horror. But instead of breaking down the door, evil Santa spoke, a voice like gravel scraping against stone.
"Merry Christmas, Lucy,"
he whispered, his words sending a shiver down my spine.
"I'll be seeing you soon."
With that, he vanished into the darkness, leaving me alone with the echoes of his sinister laughter. Since that night, I've lived in fear, knowing that evil Santa is out there, watching, waiting. And as Christmas approaches once again, I can't shake the feeling that he'll return, his dark presence casting a shadow over the holiday season forevermore. Months passed, and the memory of that terrifying night lingered in the back of my mind like a persistent nightmare. I tried to convince myself that it was just a figment of my imagination, a trick of the darkness on Christmas Eve. But deep down, I knew the truth. I had encountered something evil, something beyond explanation. As Christmas drew nearer, my anxiety grew. I found myself dreading the holiday that I had once loved so dearly, fearing that evil Santa would return to haunt me once again. I tried to push the thoughts from my mind to focus on the joy and warmth of the season. But no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't escape the feeling of impending doom. Then, one cold December evening, as I sat alone in my darkened living room, I heard it, the faint jingle of sleigh bells, echoing through the silence like a chilling warning. My heart seized in my chest as I realized that he was back, that evil Santa had returned to claim me as his own. I rushed to the window, my hands trembling as I peered outside. And there, standing in the snow-covered yard, was evil Santa, his dark silhouette illuminated by the glow of the moon. I wanted to scream, to run, but fear rooted me to the spot as he slowly turned his gaze towards me.
"Merry Christmas, Lucy,"
he rasped, his voice sending shivers down my spine.
"I told you I'd be seeing you soon."
With a sinking feeling in the pit of my stomach, I knew that there was no escaping him this time. Evil Santa had come for me, and there was nothing I could do to stop him. As he approached the house, his form shimmering in the moonlight, I braced myself for the horrors that awaited. But instead of the expected chaos and destruction, evil Santa simply reached out a hand, his touch like ice against my skin.
"Come with me, Lucy,"
he whispered, his voice soft and seductive.
Join me, and together we will spread fear and darkness throughout the world.
I wanted to resist, to fight against the evil that threatened to consume me. But as his words washed over me, filling my mind with visions of power and control, I found myself succumbing to his influence. And so, hand in hand with evil Santa, I stepped out into the night, leaving behind the warmth and light of Christmas forever. For in the embrace of darkness, there was a twisted kind of freedom, a freedom that promised to fulfill all of my darkest desires.